That's right. We're back with me in the studio. I didn't know what I was going to say right there, but no, we're back in studio. Like I said, after that last episode, after taking 2 weeks off, I was like, no, I need to weekly basis and bi-weekly basis. And I've actually been hitting up some people, and hopefully we're just diving right into it. But hopefully we'll get some guests here soon. But it's a beautiful Friday here. I've been home alone. Emma's in New York. I've been bored and lonely, to say the least. So just been coming up with a ton of shit. Even if you don't watch it, whoever does watch this, I'll have a little weekly New York City just vlog coming out of just like a ton of the fun shit we've done in the past couple weeks. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I did over the past couple nights here. But without further ado, welcome back to episode 31 of The Mackin Show. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to learn how to do claps. I'll just do it on my own and just literally clap myself. But no, welcome back. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Friday. I'm trying to think of like what I necessarily want to start with, but like I was talking about earlier, it's been good, been a lonely week because obviously last episode I told you we just got back from New York, or by we, I mean just me and then our team. But Emma stayed in New York, went home for a little bit to be with fam, and I've just kind of been lonely. I've been chilling, but luckily been still keeping active. Been out to some good dinners, went to Rolling Loud last night, which was crazy, and might as well kick it off with this one. So we went to Rolling Loud last night, and it's because Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, was going to be performing, and it wasn't a listening party. That's not what it was promoted as. It was just a performance, and given, I have whatever opinion you want. I've grown up on 808s and Heartbreaks, Graduation, College Dropout, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, yes, I would like to see Kanye in concert at least once in my life. I didn't get good Kanye, 5+ years ago. So I would like to see him. And an opportunity came up that I got to have some tickets and go with some friends to go see Ye. And I figured, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. We're still Taylor Swift. But I was like, I need to go see Kanye at least once. Because, again, I wasn't able to see him back then. But so we go, and first off, we had VIP tickets. And the entrance to get into Rolling Loud was fucking stupid, where like you had to walk around like quite literally probably a half mile to get to the entrance from like anywhere you could get dropped off. And then from there, it was another extremely long walk even to the stage. But from there, it was another long walk to VIP. And he was supposed to go on at 8. None of us thought he was actually going to go on at 8. So Kanye goes on at around 8:30, and we knew it because you just hear Carnival, the beat start, like, oh, and people just start booking it. So we were like, all right, we got to run up. And so we go. Turns out that's not how he started the night, and I guess he was there for a little bit longer, but he didn't perform any of the songs that when we were there. Like, he had no mic. It was just a listening party for that time, but it was only 4 songs, and then he just left. And then whatever the DJ was playing, Can't Tell Me Nothing, some him and Jay, like Otis, fucking like Heartless, just like old tracks with no one on stage, just smoke. And he was there because at first I was making a joke. I was like, he wears a mask. He wears a mask all the time now. How do I know that Kanye is actually performing this right now? Not sure, but I guess he took the mask off. But it was kind of crazy, and a lot of people were upset by it. But if before I went to Rolling Loud, you told me Kanye is only going to be there, he's supposed to be there for 2 hours, but he's only going to be there for 30 minutes, and he's only going to perform like one song and then a listening party the rest, I would tell you like, yeah, probably. That makes sense to me. That's a Kanye thing to do. So no, it didn't really upset me that that was the case. It was just, I got to see him on stage bumping some of his music. So that was my Rolling Loud experience for day one. And I was mad because if we got there earlier, or if the setup for Rolling Loud to get inside wasn't so goddamn stupid, North performed on stage with some of her friends. Quavo was there, and Kim was also there. And I was like, damn. Now, was I going to be able to meet Kim if I was there? Obviously not. But it would still be cool to be like, yeah, I was in the same vicinity as Kim. No biggie. Who cares? But regardless, got to see him on stage for a little bit. It was fun. I finally got to try Mike Malak's 1010 burger because they had a stand-up at Rolling Loud. And as soon as we walked by, I looked to my right. I was like, yep, I'm trying that. So after we get done with Ye's performance, I was like, yep, I need to get one of these burgers. So I got the 1010 double with fries. It's good as shit. It was a good-ass burger. Again, obviously it's a smash burger. Mike loves Shake Shack for the win, Burger She Wrote, all this type of shit. I'd probably give that burger like a solid 8.9, maybe rolling into 9 flat, but like a solid 8.99. Amazing burger. It wasn't the best burger I've ever had, but really, really good burger. I was hyped by it because, sometimes when creators make a product, food-wise specifically, it's probably not that good. So burger was fire. Shout out Mike Malak. I'm waiting for the actual location to open up so I can just get 1010 burger because it was a fire-ass burger. But no, so that was our Rolling Loud experience. And the other nights, like we had the wristband for the weekend, but like I said, this podcast knows, like Nikki was tonight. I'm not really the biggest Nikki guy. Like, don't get me wrong, she's got hits, but she's just, I don't know. I don't know enough of her newer music to be able to go and bump that shit. And then they had like Sway Lee tonight and YG and Tyga and shit like that. But tomorrow would have been fun because it was like Post Malone, Chief Keef, Don Toliver. But one thing about Rolling Loud, and I get it, it's for security reasons, but I was like, well, this is dumb, where they give you a bracelet and like you tighten the bracelet to stay on your wrist and you can't untighten it. And if you cut it off, it doesn't work anymore. So like, again, I was told before tightening the bracelet, don't tighten it too much. I'll take some of the blame on that one. And I didn't think I tightened it too much, but by the end of the night, it was just too tight. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be going to Rolling Loud for the rest of these days. So I'm not going to leave this on just because. And then I finally made the decision. I was like, probably not going to go to Rolling Loud the rest of the days. So I'm going to cut this bad boy off. And another part of the reason is one thing about me that's like a weird thing, I guess, is that I hate shit on me in any way, shape, or form. And that's why, like, I can't have chains on, a watch, bracelets, nothing like that. Like, clothes, obviously. But when it comes to, like, extra shit on me, I'm just like, ick. Fuck, no, please no. So that's why I can't. And having that bracelet on me for an extra 3 days on a whim that I might not even go, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my hat out of the ring. I'm not going to Rolling Loud these next couple days, so fuck it. But honestly, a lot of people were disappointed, because I get it. Like, I'm sure some like real big Ye fans and shit are like, no, we needed to hear Vultures, bro. Me, I was like, I'm just trying to do some shit. Let's go to Rolling Loud. Fuck it. I'll probably never see Kanye perform ever again, and given he didn't really even perform, but I'll probably never see Kanye personally on a stage ever again. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. That got to get a 1010 burger, got to just go explore some of SoFi and shit. So I had a good time. And then we went to some dive bar after. It was super fun. Played mad skee ball and shit. And the streamer Aircool was just there streaming. Pretty cool. It wasn't like we were at fucking Catch Steak or, no, even like a Barney's or a Saddle. It was just some random college bar in Santa Monica, and he was just there streaming. And I guess he just does it frequently, so that's cool. Shout out Aircool, because we walked in and he was just streaming, and a couple people we knew him, and I was like, that's kind of sick. Like, shout out to him. He just had his thing out. He was doing his thing. But no, that was good. And then the night before, I've never seen this done before, where we go to Saddle Ranch and Caitlin and a couple of her cousins were there and shit like that, and obviously you want to, and some other friends, and other friends were not able to drink. So obviously, you're going to whatever. But basically got kicked out. Got kicked out of Saddle Ranch. And we were like, oh. Because usually, right, like back in college, I'm saying that like that's not 2 years ago. But back in college, if you try to get into a bar or a club, whatever, they see your fake ID. They're like, oh, no, sorry, we can't let you in. Like, give you your shit back, all this type of shit. I've never seen someone thrown out of a restaurant for that ever. And Saddle Ranch of all places, like Saddle Ranch, which I know was heavily out here serving up underage TikTokers. And I get it. We're in LA. If you got fame, you get to do anything you want. But I was like, because I figured they were just going to be like, no, like you guys cannot order drinks. We're keeping our eyes on you. But like, have a good rest of your night. No, they were just like, whoever's fakes these are, like, you guys got to go. The rest you can say, but you guys got to go. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, damn. But I didn't ruin the night because then we all went to Barney's, had some good ass food, went to Catch after. That was good as hell because I've only ever been to Catch Steak for work. There's a different Catch, which is more like Catch I guess they also have steak, but like more seafood Catch. Got some dessert there. We're the one where like you break the top of the cake and shit falls out and stuff like that. We had that. Some like donut balls type thing. Good as hell. Shout out Catch. I was going to say Catch Steak. Just shout out Catch in general. But no, that was a good ass night. So just definitely been keeping myself a little busy so far since getting back. And after 7 days in New York, my sleep routine has been non-existent. But, we're just trying to get back into the swing of things. And no one from work is really back in LA doing shit until next week. So, and it's already Friday. So I got another 2-3 days of just vibing out and just getting kind of work from home done. I just came into the office today specifically to fucking podcast because I don't care if it's 1, 5, 10, 100. Hopefully in the future, 1 million people will listen to this podcast. I just love doing it. And it keeps like, it's fun for me. I can't wait to the day. I can't wait for the day when like I'll look back and be like, oh shit, that's how the podcast used to be or how it used to look like, and just thinking about what it is now. But no, I'm trying to come up with more, given I don't have great graphic talent or anything like that. But I want to start coming up with more segments and shit I can do for the podcast, like when we don't have a guest and shit like that. But no, so last week, I talked about how I missed a whole slew of shit that I didn't talk about yet. One of those things that I looked on my list, I was like, holy shit, I didn't talk about this yet, was Meek Mill. And I've never in my life seen someone try so hard to convince people that they are straight like Meek Mill. If you went to Meek Mill's Twitter and saw some of the shit he was posting, like, dude, I fucking love sex. Sex is the best. I love having sex all the time. We're like, dude, like, it's cool. Like, you're good. And he was making such a big deal about people making sure he was straight. And then Andrew Schulz came out with a video that, like, Andrew Schulz was making fun of Meek at one of his stand-up. And Meek comments or tweets, this is the first time I've ever laughed at being gay. Like, bro, like, just, we get it. You love women. Like, shout out to you. And this was after all the Diddy shit, which the Diddler, I don't know, can't comment on. It's wild. And it kind of just went away. And people are now just making fun of it. Like, it was this whole crazy thing. I swear this is time number, like, 3, 4 for Diddy. And people are just like, oh, just, it goes away. So, but then the Meek was the fallout of that. And then Meek just, oh my God, one tweet after another, like just trying to prove so hard that he was straight. People like pulling up old videos and him being mad that people were like, at this point, I don't understand how Meek Mill doesn't know social media enough to know how much people are trolling him. Where like he gets so upset about it in his tweets that he's just trying to prove like, nah, it's like, bro, like most of the people who are saying shit to you know that. They are just very actively trying to troll the fuck out of you. And maybe he does know that and it just upsets the shit out of him. but it's social media. So, like, who gives a shit? Like, we're talking about non-real accounts or, like, real people, but just under a fake-ass account being like, oh, Meek's gay. Like, I don't know why he gets so mad at that. But I guess to each their own on what they're going to get mad at. But Meek is just a specimen, man. Like, that dude, he might be one of the goofiest people of all time, Meek Mill. And I say that out of being someone who likes Meek Mill and fucks with his music and has been bumping Meek Mill for a long time. I just think he's one of the goofiest people of all time. And he will very much prove to you how he's not goofy. But I just thought that was hilarious. And I know this might be a little bit controversial, but like objectively, going back to social media, I truthfully think, take politics and everything aside out of it, Donald Trump is one of the funniest people to ever grace social media. Absolutely one of the, sometimes without even trying, but one of the funniest people to grace social media is Donald J. Trump. Politics and shit aside, not even talking about that. His use of social media, the shit Truth Socials, I don't know what it's called, tweets on Truth Social, whatever, and shit that's just, that you see of him, I've never actually seen someone so unintentionally hilarious in my life, where Biden and Kamala Harris were like, I don't know if it was State of the Union or some shit, not sure, but they were up there talking, and Trump quite literally posts a video on Truth Social of them speaking with like a Snapchat filter over it that like warped their face. It was like, at 72 years old, doing shit like that is so goddamn objectively hilarious that he just needs to come back on X, Twitter, whatever. And I know that Donald Trump asked Elon to buy Truth Social. I'm hoping that just gets turned around where either Elon does it and just closes it down and Trump just comes back to Twitter, or like they work out a deal where just Trump comes back to Twitter, because like 2016 to 2020, you knew for a fact, almost daily, you were waking up knowing like, Jesus Christ, like what are we in for today on this dude's fucking account? And it was always something that made you look and laugh at your phone, because it was just so either stupid or unintentionally funny that you were like, great, like, yeah. So again, politics aside, objectively, let the dog back on Twitter. Just not even I think he's probably allowed to. Just dog at Donald J. Trump. Just come back to Twitter. Just for the entertainment of it all. That's all I'm saying. That one of the most unintentionally funny people on social media of all time. End rant. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. But when I was on Twitter the other day, I saw a picture, and I think this is so awesome, that Little Debbie, the company that makes snacks like Cosmic Brownies and those donut hole, whatever, they own a park in Tennessee that has just life-size Little Debbies everywhere. Like, their park is made out of Little Debbie. Now, if I was a rich company or a rich person who owned a company, that's the type of shit I would do. Like, if my company that I owned was, I don't know, a cake company. Well, not the same as Little Debbie. If I was rich as shit and owned a company that sold any type of products, I would just make so many like not murals, but so many sculptures of my shit, or buy a park and just have everything themed that, or buy like street names and just name them funny ass shit. Like, that type of stuff that rich people do or rich companies do is a good type of rich person. Like, just do that shit. Like, that goes back to, I was talking about it the other game where I went to a Clippers game, and people like Steve Ballmer, people like Mark Cuban, like, if you got rich as shit, even if at the time you're not into sports, just buy a fucking sports team. How fun that would be. Like, yo, I just own the Houston Rockets, or like the Milwaukee Brewers, or like, yo, I own the Brooklyn Nets, like whatever it may be. You know how fun it would be to own a sports team? You could literally do whatever you want with that. You could change the name of it. You got to say over what the jerseys look like. Cool. Like, Steve Ballmer's building. I think this is so cool that Steve Ballmer is building the new Clipper Stadium, took it all out of his own pocket. The entire stadium is his personal money. That's it. Gangster already. On top of that, it's specifically constructed so that where he sits, like his year-round seats, can see everything on the court. And it's not blocked by the hoop. It's not blocked by, like, if other fans are standing, whatever it may be. That's the type of shit that if you're rich, you should do. Yeah, I'm going to, not some like, I'm going to go buy a app and ruin it. No, like, I'm going to buy a team and then build a stadium, and then I'm going to put myself in the best possible seat of all time of that stadium. That's sick. Like, that's some cool ass shit. Or Mark Wahlberg. Mark Zuckerberg is another one who is going through a great rebrand due to his hobbies, where he used to be someone who was like out here buying like a fifth of Maui and shit. And people are like, all right, dude, like chill the fuck out. Like people live there. Stop. Instead of that, he's learning to surf. He's over in Japan taking like samurai classes and shit like that, and like making swords and shit. And like, that's the cool shit. If you're a billionaire, live out your life like a movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you have actual like real life shit to do. Like you have companies or whatever, but like on your free time, why are you trying to do like movie villain shit? Like go do cool ass shit like that. Like go fucking build a sword and then become a samurai. Like that's awesome. So like Zuckerberg's, and he's learning jujitsu, actually kind of knows how to fight. He's been doing more and more of that shit. And people are like, oh, like how cancel culture years ago is like people are like, oh, I don't really hate Zuck anymore. Like he's kind of being cool. Right? Like don't get me wrong. People are always going to hate the rich. But if you can just do like rich shit that you knew someone who wasn't rich would do with rich shit, people would love you. And I'm not saying you have to live your life by anyone else's standards, but just like, for a fact right now, not being rich, like me, if I became a billionaire, I'm probably going to buy a sports team. And I'm not saying every billionaire has to buy a sports team, but like just do some fun. Go make a cool ass park with your shit. Go do something fun. Like instead of like, no, I'm going to go to space, or I'm going to buy this $800 million yacht that I'm going to go on like twice a year. Like what? And I get it. Again, spend your money how you want, tax deductions, whatever. But all I'm saying is I feel like that's a good way to rebrand yourself if you're a billionaire. And I'll put that on the record that the way to rebrand yourself if you're a billionaire and people don't like you for being a billionaire is just do cool shit that you think non-billionaires would do if they became a billionaire. Like I just said with Zuckerberg becoming a jiu-jitsu samurai who makes swords, and Steve Ballmer constructing a new stadium out of his own money so that he has the best seat in the house, or Little Debbie making your own park, like, or Mark Cuban buying a town, a abandoned town. That's cool. Like do shit like that. So I'm not saying you got to do it as you please. That's just what I personally think in Rebrand as a billionaire. Also in the billionaire space is that it just went to the House of Representatives I don't know, that the TikTok ban yet again. And supposedly this one actually has a little traction and when I was reading it, the U.S. doesn't necessarily want to ban TikTok. It's all a money thing. They all want ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to sell TikTok. And it's all a money thing. It has nothing to do with anything else other than the fact that they want to be able to control where the money goes, all that type of shit. So it got enough votes, but I forget that it moves up to somewhere else after that. Like the House voted for it, and then now I think it goes somewhere else, and they just want to ban it in America. I still don't think it's going to happen just because of how many jobs rely on TikTok and just how many people use it in general. And it's such a revenue stream for millions of people in America, maybe not millions, but a shit ton of people in America for their small businesses, or as goofy as it sounds, but creators and shit. Like that's their job. That's how they make money. And I know everyone else would be like, well, fuck you, go get a real job. But it's like, okay, well, like your mom and pop restaurant back home, might use TikTok to get a shit ton of their business, because guess what is the best marketing is social media. And so I don't know like where that's going to go, and I don't know who the hell is going to buy TikTok, because if you think about it, back when Elon bought Twitter, we were all like, holy shit, this dude just coughed up $44 billion with a B dollars to buy TikTok. $44 billion or to buy Twitter. TikTok is $60 billion. And Elon's a different breed. Like, there's not going to be one specific person coughing up $60 billion to buy TikTok. That's not going to happen. And just think about like rounding up, and we're talking about like the high up billionaires. I'm not talking about someone who's worth 1.1 billion, which is still a absolutely insane amount of money. But imagine that you have to rack up 1 billionaires and basically ask them to spend all their money on TikTok. Like, that's 60 billion is an absurd amount of money. So I don't know what group of investors would be able to buy ByteDance. I don't know if it would be in the US, if it would be in another, absolutely no clue. So I'm very curious to see where this TikTok ban goes. I'm hoping it doesn't get banned. Obviously, I love TikTok. I love putting my clips on TikTok. I love watching shit on TikTok. So I'm hoping that TikTok doesn't get banned. But again, that just seems like a waiting game. That's played up at certain levels of politics that I have no idea what goes on up there. So that's a waiting game for us to see. But again, we're at like the 8th time now that the TikTok ban has been, imminent. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what that goes. But another thing that, as of today, which made me sad, which I just saw all over my Twitter feed, was that Kevin Connolly, who played E on Entourage, is just getting torn apart for stiffing our guy, our blue-collar king, Jersey Jerry, out of money years ago, when I guess Jersey Jerry was starting a podcast and Kevin Connolly had some type of media company, told Jersey Jerry and one of his friends to go work for them. They never greenlit a podcast, and then the contract supposedly was for $450K. They never got paid. And Jerry just brought it up on the Unnamed show with Dave Portnoy, Kirk Minahan, and Ryan Whitney. And he's like, yo, Whitney, you were golfing with this dude who fucked me over. Not cool. Anywho, a day later, Jersey Jerry, today, posts screenshots of Matt Stafford's wife, Kelly Stafford, who also has a podcast, saying that Kevin Connolly did the same thing to her. Now it's getting more work, because like Kelly Stafford's like big in her own right, and just like, so now you actually have credible sources where it's like, Kevin Connolly, you got to get your ducks in a row, man, and start paying people, because probably the number one thing that's going to happen to you is what nobody would want to happen to you when it comes to Barstool, because I don't think it's ever happened in unison before. And what I mean by that is that Jersey Jerry's Mafia, the Rico Riders, Frank the Tank's team, the Minahans, and every other soldier, like every other fan base, die-hard fan base of these Barstool guys, is going to be coming after you. You had me at the Riders and Jersey Jerry's Army. I wouldn't want any of those. Then you take Tank's Army and Minahan's Army and others. I'm good. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. And I expected better from E. Him being, the manager to Vinny Chase. He understands the business game. He understands what it does. I know Ari wouldn't have told him that advice. So I'm very curious to see what's going to go on with that. But me personally, I would not want to go up against it. And I'm going to state this publicly right now. Anyone in the Rico Riders, Jersey Jerry Mafia, Tanks Mafia, or Minahans, I got love for all of you guys. I would never want that heat on me ever. So he's gonna have to pay up Jersey Jerry, Kelly Stafford, and whoever else, or it's going to be a never-ending thing, because let me tell you one thing is those people do not quit. So, yeah, I've just never seen ever in Barstool history those four armies in unison going against one thing, and that is probably the last thing you could possibly want. So Kevin Connolly, just pay up our man Jersey Jerry, pay Kelly Stafford and whoever else needs to be paid, because trust me, at least from an onlooker, you don't want this war. Like, as someone who has watched those wars unfold, that's not something you want. So, justice for Jersey Jerry. And yeah, our streaming king. That's what, we just need him to, be compensated. And then speaking of streaming services, one thing that like I wish came back in the entertainment space is more timeless comedy movies. And what I mean by that is comedy movies that aren't going to necessarily make 100, 200, 300 million at box office opening weekend, but as time goes on, like, oh, that's going to be a funny movie that we'll watch and a lot of people will watch. And what I mean by that is that Zac Efron, Andrew Santino, John Cena, and I forgot his last name, just came out with a movie called Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime, and I watched it the other day. And it's a funny movie, and it's kind of like it's not some like crazy wrong. It gets your typical like what you'd expect from an older Vince Vaughn style movie, Adam Sandler style movie, Will Ferrell style movie, shit like that, where it is really funny, but it's got like a nice like gentle, I guess, plot. It's not too crazy, but it's like funny enough, and it's got a good cast that works together. And again, it's not something that, because I feel like, in my opinion, when people are like, we don't see comedy movies anymore, it's because I'm sure studios, ever since you have, and I'm not saying any hate to these movies because I love these movies too, but like ever since you have your Avengers and your Oppenheimers and Barbies and you have your Dunes and you have your shit like that, and I know they're completely different genres, but still people are like, oh, what's the point in us making this movie if we're not going to get $100-300 million over like box office opening weekend? But like, and I know it was a different time, but like all those actors I just named, from your Adam Sandlers to your Will Ferrells, your Vince Vaughns, your Owen Wilsons, your like just your Seth Rogens, like none of those movies were making hundreds of millions of dollars on box office weekend. But those are timeless comedy movies that quite literally will always be good. They will always be good watches. We'll rewatch them all the time. And I just wish that studios could go back to that type of vibe when it comes to comedy movies, because I feel like we don't see comedy movies come out that often anymore because it's all about how much fucking money can we make. And I get it. I know it's a business. But, with Ricky Stenicki, it was a good comedy movie. It was a movie that I feel like as the years go on, people are going to watch, and it gave me like different version of like, and I know this because Efron's in it, but like Neighbors, where like funny ass movie, good plot, like some just goofy shit. I doubt Neighbors was making hundreds of millions of dollars at box office, but it's always a good watch. And any of the other actors I named. And no, I just thought it was a really good movie, and I just want more comedy movies to drop. And don't get me wrong, this is coming from someone who like, I also love sci-fi, I love horror, I love action, but like you don't see any good comedy movies come out anymore because, they need money and shit. So that's all. That'll just be my end rant. But no, it's just a mystery to me that why that's the case. And another mystery that is just absolutely taking over the internet right now, and I truthfully don't know what to make of it because I'm not engulfed in the royal family life that much, is what is going on with Kate Middleton. And at least a little rundown from what I've heard or read is that the last time Kate Middleton was publicly seen was in December, and she had abdominal or some sort of surgery. I'm pretty sure it was abdominal, and she has not been seen since at all. And don't get me wrong, if you have abdominal surgery, I'm sure you want time to rest, this and that. I get it. But also like 3, almost 4 months now of not being seen once, especially when you're in the royal family, is kind of wild. And don't get me wrong, I know the royal family like basically owns the UK media and could like, do as they please and be like, you are not to take pictures of this woman at all. Maybe she really just does want a secretive recovery and she's been in the limelight for so long, she wants a break. That could be it. But then the family photo came out. And by this point, if you're understanding what I'm talking about, you'll know what the family photo is, where Kate Middleton is sitting there with all her children, and a shit ton of photographers have came out and said that her face in that was photoshopped from an earlier photo, and it's absolutely exact, and dimensions of shit are wrong. So people think that this family photo was photoshopped, and it's not real. Because I don't know if it was Buckingham Palace, but someone in the royal family collective posted the photo of Kate being like, oh, like, happy month, like, she's all good, like, everything's fine. When in reality, it's just like, I don't think so, because that photo is probably fake. Now, tinfoil hat time, we're going to do 50-50. Tinfoil hat time, maybe Kate Middleton is just disappeared and, you know, is out of the game for good, and you're not going to see her in photographs anytime soon. Tinfoil hat off, maybe she was recovering, has been in publication so goddamn much that she was like, please God, just this is my chance to get like 3-4 months of just privacy. Like, I'm begging you. And even more is that the royal family probably owns hundreds of properties all throughout the UK and other countries. And some of them are farms. One of them is Buckingham fucking Palace. Like, I would not be surprised if she truthfully is just taking a very long-winded vacation and is just like, okay, like I can literally escape and just chill out for a second. I don't have to do press. I don't have to do events. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. That's a possibility. But again, what is going on with Kate Middleton? If you have more answers than me, I would love to know and dive in, because tinfoil hat time, some fun shit to watch. But no, so I don't really know what's going on with with Kate Middleton and the royal family. But yeah. It's just been all over the internet, and it has just been in my mind where I'm like, what's going on with Kate? Where's she at? Because she's always in photos. So, you know, Kate, just come through. Like, just come out real quick. Like, you know, put the conspiracy theories to bed, like, at this point. And if not, then what's up? What are you doing? I'm trying to think. Oh, something that made me so sad is that I forget what her name was, Professor, I know I sound like a fake Harry Potter fan right now, but the biology professor during Harry Potter that like had them doing spells on plants and all that type of shit came out. It was just being mad mean. She just like, Harry Potter's for children. You guys need to let it go. It was 20 years ago. You should not be having parties with Harry Potter themed. That's where you should stop right there. That's exactly what movies like Harry Potter and Star Wars and any of those are made for, is so that you never have to let them die out. And coming from a 24-year-old, I'm never going to let Harry Potter die out, because that shit is goated for life. And I'm going to be watching all 8 movies every single year like this is the first time I've ever seen them, because you're diving into a new world, the wizarding world, and just immersing yourself in the Harry Potter life. So that hurt me to see. I always hate when like you see actors, actresses, directors, whatever, producers coming out being like, you know, this movie did suck, or you need to. It's like, you worked on it. You knew how special that shit was. You knew how much people love that shit. Like, keep it to yourself, straight up. Like, so that hurt my feelings that she said that. So I hope you take it back, because you know that Harry Potter's the GOAT. I'll just leave that there. That's all. I'm trying to think. Oh, my Chipotle addiction is back. And I've always joked about it. Hold up. Let me just take a sip of my Starbucks real quick. And actually, the Mackin Show is sponsored by Starbucks. It's not actually sponsored by Starbucks, but I would love it to be sponsored by Starbucks, because I drink Starbucks every day. Starbucks knows how much I love it. And that would really give a boost to the channel if Starbucks would, or, because we have them in the office now, Boss Water. So if either of these two companies, which I drink daily, would like to sponsor this podcast, I'm open for it. I'm more than open for it. So let me take a sip. But no, going back to it, my Chipotle addiction is back. It's been a while since. So I'd probably say from like 2014 to 2019, I shit you not, I probably ate Chipotle Monday through Friday every week for lunch. Like, that was truthfully my lunch every day. And then I didn't get sick of it. I would still eat it periodically, but then I would start eating different shit. Sometimes maybe I'd get a little Subway or a sandwich somewhere else or this or that or make some food at home. And then when we moved to LA, I stopped eating Chipotle a lot because it's LA. There's a shit ton of other restaurants. So I started doing that more. And over the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, it has just been hitting. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I cannot wait to have Chipotle for lunch and or dinner tonight. And for the last 6 days in a row, I have been having Chipotle for lunch or dinner. And no, I'm not disappointed by it. So the Chipotle addiction is back. I'm not mad by it. Chipotle also, if you would like to sponsor this podcast, I would quite literally eat a bowl or a burrito during the podcast every single episode. Might just do that anyways, but I love Chipotle. So that addiction is back. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, in the sports world. So Shohei Ohtani, I forget exactly what he said, but made some funny tweet or quote, something about his wife back in Japan. And I forget like how it went, but he was just talking about his wife, whatever. Turns out that Shohei Ohtani's future children will be absolutely fucking athletic specimens because his wife is a professional basketball player in Japan and she's fucking nice. She's really good at basketball. I was watching a highlight clip of her and I'm like, wow, like, of course Shohei goes and dates someone who is also really fucking good at their craft. And that craft just happens to be women's basketball. And it was just so fitting where, okay, like, you're clearly one of the better baseball players ever at this point. Might as well also date an amazing basketball player. And that's what he's doing. And I just thought that was so funny because I didn't know, like, I mean, shit, his wife could have been an accountant or a doctor or a teacher or like whatever it may be. But him being who he is, one of the better generational baseball players there is, of course, is going to date someone else who's probably a generationally great basketball player. And their child is probably going to be the next Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders. And I cannot wait to see that. So I just thought that was funny where I was like, yep, of course he's going to date and marry an athletic specimen as well. And someone who's just going to make kids that are born to also shatter records and be in the Hall of Fame. So I thought that was funny. I'm really trying to be, so every once in a while, clips will pop up on my feed of NBA YoungBoy and Floyd Mayweather's daughter's son of him with Floyd boxing and shit. And that kid is going to be a fucking problem in the future, let me tell you. To have NBA YoungBoy and Floyd Mayweather genes in the same child, we're talking future Mike Tyson energy here. Not joking. That kid is going to be a fucking savage and probably going to win every world heavyweight boxer, maybe even UFC, who knows, but going to be an absolute savage. And I'm already going to try to start putting bets in on that kid for future wins when it comes to boxing and or UFC, because if you see his, I don't know how old he is, throwing punches and really just nonstop aggression, yeah, that kid's going to be an issue. That kid, yeah. So I'm putting my money on him in the future. But we all knew a baby containing NBA YoungBoy and Floyd Mayweather genes was going to be an issue. So I cannot wait for the future for that child. But no, so, I'm trying to think of like what else, Emma gets back on Sunday, which I'm hype about because I've been lonely. And no, it's Friday night. Might go to a screening tonight of one of Jamie's friends who I met one time is a writer for the show SWAT. Shout out Derek Morgan, a.k.a. Shamar Moore. And I guess he's having a screening for one of the episodes that he wrote. So we might go to that tonight. That should be fun. And then probably chill out. And I know this is going to sound so, fat of me, but I cannot wait to have a breakfast burrito tomorrow. I have not had my favorite breakfast burrito from Cafe Los Feliz in like 2 weeks. Mind you, side note, Cafe Los Feliz is undoubtedly, in no comparison, the best breakfast burrito in all of Los Angeles. And you can fight me for that. Absolutely. I would put that breakfast burrito up against any breakfast burrito in Los Angeles. There's not one that would. And I've started going around and getting a shit ton from different places. Cafe Los Feliz has the best breakfast burrito. Just saying. But I'm hyped to get that tomorrow and really just vibe out and keep pumping out fun podcast episodes and shit. Like I said earlier, I'm hoping we got some more guests coming on the way for some fun conversations and just talking and shit. And it's going to get fun. I promise you. 2024 is the year. It's going to get fun. I can't wait. But, thank you, whoever tuned in to episode 31 of The Mackin Show. There will be more, and I can't wait. But until next time, peace.
Yeah.